Hey there hunters, welcome back to the Gunners Guild. In today's info dump video, we're going to be discussing the dungeons in Remnant 2. Specifically the ones that don't end up with a boss, so I'm just going to call them like side dungeons, I guess. Reason being is that dungeons that have a boss are very simple to figure out. You just, have your trait book, a corpse drop, an injectable, and then you kill the boss and you're done. So if you're familiar with the injectable for the zone, check out my videos if you're not, it's pretty easy to clear the zone without missing anything. However, the other dungeons tend to have puzzles and other little events you need to do to complete them entirely. So because of this, we're going to go through and cover all the dungeons and what you need to do to complete them entirely. We're going to assume that you're familiar with the injectables and got that done, so we're not going to cover any of that here, but let's dive in. In this video, we're going to cover the Yaesha dungeons that don't end in a boss. We're going to start with the Cathedral of Omens. This small dungeon is entirely one big puzzle. You have one machine in the middle with 3 doors, one on the left, which is already broken and open, the center door, and the right door. You can figure out how to solve this puzzle from the Book of Omens, which is in the room to the back right over here. I'll just tell you the answers though, so skip this if you want to figure it out on your own. Now you can move the levers, one of which rotates the triangle and the upper rings, one which rotates the lower rings, and the other which rotates the symbols of the omens. The first answer opens up the front door, which you can see here, and this will grant you the Seed of Life material, which is used to craft the Astral Burst mod. The second solution is for the Omen of the Blood Moon, which you can see here. This door opens up some chests, but if you are in the Cathedral of Omens during a blood moon, which you can check from the entrance, you will open the lower door as well, which will give you the Ring of Omens. The last omen here is the Omen of Hope, which is in the book, and this one can be a little tough to figure out on your own, but again, here is the solution, and this will open the center ring to grant you the Sagittarius bow. This is everything in this dungeon, so you can now go ahead and leave. The next dungeon in Yaesha we're going to cover is the Lament, which is my favorite dungeon by the way. The Lament is huge and you have multiple puzzles to solve here. The first thing you're going to come up to is the spike dart traps. Before you go through this though, shine your flashlight up at the top so you can see this symbol and take a screenshot of this because you're going to need it later. Anyway, go ahead and make your way through the arrow trap maze and take it slow because the plates that activate change the arrow's directions automatically and then they start firing a new sequence. So if you step on it right as a new set of arrows shoot, you're going to set another set of arrows and probably just kill yourself. So just be careful. It is relatively an easy trap to get through though, but it does one-shot you. You can also cheese this with revives such as Alchemist's Elixir of Life, Dog Revive from Handler, and Die Hard to get a bunch of iframes on your death and then you just run through the sections. Invader's Void Cloak also lets you get through this pretty much unscathed. You'll figure it out, I believe in you. Anyway, once you're through this, you can open the door and stop the traps. From here, you're going to come up to this area that's just got a bunch of caskets and symbols, which we don't necessarily need right now, but do go down to this little crater area and check out the book. Flip the first page and you're going to see a symbol with a color. And this is what you're going to need to know in just a second. From here though, continue left and go through the dungeon and kill stuff per the norm, and continue up and around until you make your way back to the opposite side of the crater. You can come up and around to open up this top door to make a shortcut, which I highly recommend. Now that you have access to both the lower floor and the upper floors, you can find the blankets that match the color and the symbol of the one you found in the book. For each one you find, there will be a symbol above the casket. These are what you need for the plinth puzzle, which you passed by to open up that shortcut. Keep note of all the symbols and you can put them in the plinth here regardless of the order. This will open the door here and let you grab the checkpoint and the blood-tinged ring. The Lament has a lot of caskets, make sure you're opening them all because one of them will contain the Wither aberration, which you need to kill to get the Colcax Razor quest item. If you happen to also get the empty caskets injectable, the aberration can be in one of those caskets by rot, just a heads up. Anyway, get the key from the aberration if it's here by the checkpoint, then come around to the corner and smash the pots and drop down. From here you're going to make your way around the water and crouch by the waterfall area and head under down this little corridor, and then at the end you're going to pick up the key for the supply room. Head around and up to get to the door and use the key to open it. Here's another death trap puzzle which you can actually get through without much issue. Just run with the saw blades and then change sides as you need to. Easy peasy, no more trappy. and this is going to put you at the big casket, which will contain the Red Widow armor set. Now you can Suey Louie and head back to the shortcut door, leading back to the entrance of this dungeon. You're going to go down here and branch off to the left, kill some enemies, and make your way to this pit full of pillars. The symbol you looked at the beginning of the dungeon can be used to follow these pillars and lead you down an invisible path safely to the bottom. Though you can also just equip a grenade and watch the projectile arc so you can know where it's safe to walk. Anyway, head down to the bottom and now you have a decision to make. You can either use the Kolket's razor, inspect it, and pull the knob to turn it into the key for this door, or you can use this Kolket razor and throw it into the Nightweaver's nest to get the Nightweaver's Grudge amulet. Of course, this only works in campaign mode if you happen to also have the Nightweaver as your Loathsome boss. So if you don't have that, just continue anyway. So use the key and open the door here, and this is going to take you into a room where you can get the Ring of Diversions. Before you leave here though, run through the invisible wall on the right hand side if you're looking at the exit now, and make your way up and drop onto this hanging boat thing, and then pick up your Light Bright crown. You can show this crown to Vaunt in the Forbidden Grotto to get the Lodestone ring if you're on the Ravager side of Yaesha. Anyway, that's everything here in the Lament, you're done. Okay, next dungeon here on Yaesha is short. This is the Forgotten Field, and there's literally nothing important in this zone besides your injectable, but when you get to the end of the zone, you're going to have like a little siege thing to do. The end of this zone is the siege event with the Root Nexus, where you have to break free of Lemire. Now, if you manage to kill the Root Nexus without killing any of the adds, so if you nuke it really fast, you will be awarded with the Necklace of Supremacy, so try to do that on lower difficulties. And when you're done here and kill the Aberration, get your Mutator and all that stuff, make sure you talk to Lemire and exhaust all of his dialogue, because he will then give you the Lemire Sensor Amulet as well. And that's all really, we're done. And then we have Endaira's End, which again is pretty empty until you get to the very end. Endaira's End does have some important injectables though, so don't miss out on that. But here at the end checkpoint, you have Endaira's Endless Loop, but you also have a maze to solve. The maze is entered here by stepping on this stone plate. You can solve this maze on your own if you want, but I also have this handy dandy cheat sheet that Creative had made when we were using this in the playtests. It's a simple cheat sheet that shows the path of where you need to enter, where the items are in the maze, and all that stuff. You can collect the Krell's Axe here in the maze, as well as the Vampire Mutator by killing the Aberration. But you're going to continue through the maze, and when you finally find your way out to the other side, you're going to pick up the Tempest Conduit Ring. You can also turn around and head through the invisible door here and pick up the Pulsating Heart. You're technically done with this area, but if you have a co-op buddy, you can get one more item. One person needs to stand on the stone plate that opens the maze door, and that will open another hidden wall by the locked door near the crystal checkpoint. One person can head over here and then open the door from the other side to let the other player through. Now both of you can head down the stairs into this other death trap. This is a saw blade maze thing here that has a platform you can step on to open up all the doors on all the sides of this death hallway. The only one you need to be concerned with is at the very back end, so one player is going to need to stand on this platform while the other one races to the end. If you succeed, you can pick up the Captain's Insignia, and now you're done with Endaira's End. The last dungeon we have here is the Imperial Garden. This is a large area that has a notorious giant flying aberration called Mantragora flying around. I hate this guy so much, but at some point you're going to need to kill this guy to get the Momentum Mutator because it's the best mutator in the game. Now just take care of it whenever you can. In the meantime though, you're going to have to make your way around the garden area to the left here and find the Blood Moon door. Of course you have to come here during a blood moon, but you should be able to see when that is. And if you do that, this door will open up and grant you the Full Moon Circlet Amulet. Now around this area, there's also going to be a lot of breakable sections of wall that you can break to get access to chests and other areas, but you're mainly looking for these overgrown plaques that have symbols on them, because you got to keep track of these symbols, so take screenshots. Make your way around the right hand side, fight your way through all the hordes of enemies, until you wrap back around and can open up the shortcut door, and there's also a checkpoint here so you can rest at that too, don't miss it. Now you can head up and around this garden, pop the doors and pick up the Edge of the Forest katana. You can also continue towards the middle and make your way up the stairs to see the plinth puzzle that you're going to need the symbols for. I like to hunt Mantragora up here, but that's just me. Keep going and cross the root bridge until you find another symbol, kill the elite, head back down the stairs, keep looking out for the walls to break, and collect the last 2 symbols. Now, once you got all of those, head back to the plinth and solve the puzzle with the symbols you found, regardless of the order. This will open up the floor and give you the crossbow. Hooray! Now you're done with the Imperial Gardens. Alright, so that's all for the Yaesha dungeons and their puzzles, how to solve them. Don't forget to check your injectables, but that's going to be all for me. Thank you all for watching. Check back for the other biomes and their dungeon layouts.